trying to do a hard launch or anything, but here we are in third gear. Doesn't matter, just blows tires off. It's bad. This thing is totally different compared to when it had the turbo on it. It's just bad. It's just barely hit the throttle, and it's all you smell is burnt rubber all the time. It's just so much more fun than the turbo. Man, it's fun. It's gonna be a fun street car, anyways. You know, it'll probably blow up the track, you know, like everything else, but this thing's fun. It runs and drives, lives and breathes. What I believe might be the first GT500 blower on a Holley high ram on a 5.3. Obviously not the first GT500 blower on a 5.3, because there's been others, but I think this might be the first on a high ram. Not sure. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, let me give you the rundown on what's going on here. So, where do I start? LT1 throttle body with a hacked up flat plate to adapt it to the GT500 blower elbow. Obviously the M122 Eaton off of 2011 Shelby GT500. The Holley high ram cathedral port, Bronin Terminator X, running 60 pound an hour injectors at 45 psi, which actually ends up being what, like 70, 71 pound per hour at 60 psi roughly. So we'll go with that. It's got a SI5 cam. I can't remember who sells that. Is it Speed Inc. or somebody? BTR 1219. Let's see. BTR doesn't make those. Who makes those? Pack 1219 valve springs. And then the Hooker turbo manifolds, which is, you know, I had a turbo on this car, but I took it off when I blew the other engine up, and just playing around with this. Obviously a turbo will be going back on this car, so this is just a temporary setup here. Alright, so let's talk about the belt routing. I used pretty much you know, factory belt routing, other than I added this idler pulley. I robbed that off of an Ls1 deal, and then whereas it would originally wrap from here down around this other idler, now it is going just up and around here, trying to get as much belt wrap as I can. I know it's slipping. It has to be slipping. But dang, this thing just is so snappy on the throttle. It's unreal. I can't believe how responsive it is. I'm extremely happy with it. So, yeah. So how did I get the blower on the Holley high ram? Well, I took a flat plate of aluminum and just cut the center out of it and transferred holes. In a nutshell, that's all there was. There's nothing spectacular about it. The only problem is this intake, if you leave the blower pulley turned around the other way like it is from the factory, it will not reach the belt. So I pulled it off and then pressed it back on backwards, and then it gave me enough room to make a flange, you know, for the blower. I can still move it forward or backwards a little bit, but right now it's none of the bolt holes are overlapping. It's pretty much sitting perfect, really. Let's see. And the changes I made to the blower, not much. Obviously these fittings here, I capped those off. This one I tapped and plugged it. This fitting, the vacuum fitting that was here, I pulled it out and tapped it for 1/8 inch pipe thread and put a meth nozzle in here. So I'm running meth injection, and I can't think of a better place for it. This is right behind the rotors, gets pulled in, so that's awesome. And then let's see, this fitting is the same deal, vacuum fitting, and right here, pulled those out, tapped them for pipe thread. This one is running to the bypass valve. The throttle cable is kind of a sketchy deal. I'm running an Ls1 2002 Camaro Ls1 throttle cable without traction control. And then I drilled this hole out bigger to get this barrel to work. And then I kind of was just being lazy and didn't want to mess around with trying to make a bracket. So I ended up using the factory 5.3 Chevy truck bracket, and it just so happened the cable was long enough, and I already had a hole here where it lined up perfect, and so that was my throttle situation there. So it works, it's perfect, it works. The LT1 throttle body to the Holley Terminator, I had to, I bought an adapter. I had the adapter already, where we ran some goofy wiring set up on an LT1 where I already had this adapter going to the Terminator. So that's the car for the most part. The rest of the car is nothing fancy. It's a Turbo 400 with a 4,000 stall and a trans brake, reverse manual valve body, obviously. A Ford 9-inch with a 456 rear gear. So it makes this thing just a handful. I love it. It's awesome. I really want to go up to like a 373 or 320 something, probably, to make it a little bit funner or make it a little easier to drive down the road without just screaming RPMs all the time. Nothing fancy about the car. It is just pretty much a bone stock for the most part. 86 Pontiac Grand Prix. Still has the couch cushions. The dash is still there. I haven't ripped all that stuff out yet. I probably won't, just to fit into some of the street car classes. Got rid of the thing that was there, the heat and AC box that's on the firewall. Man, it's windy out here. Golly. So the exhaust is just a Dyno Mac. No, it's not. It's a Borla XR1, and it's about 2.5 inches long. It's like 6 inches long, but you get the idea. The radiator is 96 Camaro Trans Am LT1 radiator with the electric fans, and then I just wired up a painless wiring relay kit. That kit does come with a temperature sensor you screw into the head, but I'm not running it, so the fans are just on all the time. Factory thermostat, I think. We did add the fittings for the catch can, so to put oil in this thing I have to take the fitting off, and then I drain it out. I mean, you're running E85, you got to drain it out pretty often, actually. It's amazing how much water I think accumulates. But obviously I'm blowing off these old Mastercraft Avenger GTs. They're just, and I smell rubber burning whenever I nail the throttle on this thing. I don't know if it's the tires or if it's the belt slipping, but I'm sure the belt's slipping like crazy. I want to do like a manual tensioner, look one of those up online, see what's going on there. So I'm sure you've all noticed the nitrous nozzles here. This was actually the setup from our old LT1 engine. That car ran it was pretty good. It was on 383, ran a 675 or something, this street car. But anyhow, maybe we'll put nitrous on it. Heck, who knows? Sky's the limit here until it blows up again, which is sooner than later, I'm sure. Alright, it's raining. I'm going back to the shop. Talk to you later. Got any questions, let me know. Just to let you know, most of the parts used on this car nowadays are from allstaroils.com. Give them a call, check out the website, buy everything.